Okay. So thank you very much for your time. Today I'm going to take you through a brief presentation to introduce the Qatar Free Zone Authority to you and to introduce the emerging technology as a sector, as one of our sector focused, and then specifically talking about smart cities and the opportunities that arise in the smart city sector within Qatar. So the Free Zone was established operations in 2019 and was with the purpose to develop and regulate Qatar Free Zones, delivering long-term solutions for businesses while supporting Qatar continuous growth and economic diversification. The Free Zone was created as a one-stop shop regulatory authority, working with investors to develop tailored regulations to their businesses and free zones that are seamlessly connected to their global operations. So the Free Zone are both an operator and a regulator, and we've been given a lot of leeway to kind of tailor-made solutions for our investors. I would say that there are 6 main pillars in terms of incentives, or 6 main standards incentives that the Free Zone offers. Is 100% foreign ownership, highly skilled workforce availability, 0 custom duties on imports, 20-year tax holidays, and state-of-the-art facilities, which I'm going to talk a little bit more about, and regulations to service FDI, specifically intellectual property, special regulation to protect intellectual property. Setting up your business in Qatar has several factors or several important dimensions. Strategic location. We have 2 free zones located, one of them located straight close to Hamad International Airport with direct access to the airport, and the second free zone, Al-Mohannadi free zone, with a direct access to Hamad Port, which is one of the world's largest green ports globally. The diverse real estate operation offers. We offer a trunky of real estate solutions, from service lands to special light industrial units to fitted offices to co-working solutions as well. Partnership opportunities with our national champions like Qatar Airways, Ooredoo, Qatar Energy. We've already established a couple of programs that for co-investment or co-partnership opportunities for co-offtake agreements with them. Funding opportunities, of course, through different funding programs within Qatar, and also through our investing arm DVC, which you'll be hearing more about later on. So as of yet, we have three different areas for the free zones. The first one is what I talked about earlier, Ras Bufontas Free Zone, which as you see here, it's around 4 square kilometers free zone with direct access to Hamad International Airport. And Al-Mohannadi Free Zone is around 34 square kilometers with direct access to Hamad Port. And then we have 2 real estate solutions in Doha. One is in Msharab, which is sustainable development regeneration project in the heart of Doha city, and then the other one is in Lusail. Both of them are within 30 minutes from downtown Doha, and both of them are connected by a very developed highway infrastructure, highway road network. Of course, Qatar is considered Qatar's small size and powerful infrastructure and high internet and smartphone penetration makes it an excellent hub for tech operations and advanced mobility. Qatar have a strong connectivity infrastructure, have world-class data infrastructure and cloud enabling ecosystems, and smart cities, which I'm going to talk a little bit more about later on. So Qatar offers one of the most advanced telecommunication networks in the world, national connectivity, 90% gigabit speed fiber household coverage, and Qatar is ranked first globally internet adoption globally and first globally also in mobile internet speed globally. Qatar is home to a cloud enabling ecosystem through the adoption. Qatar is trying to create an ecosystem supporting the expansion of wide range of cloud providers, including starting with Google and Microsoft. And Qatar is now developing a cloud-centric ICT strategy to enable and accelerate this growth with services that are supported by the best-in-class data and intellectual property regulations, ensuring the business is protected. So we're starting only with Google Cloud and Microsoft, and hopefully there is more on the pipeline coming in. So Qatar offer business opportunities in various ICT sectors and energy, in smart city and mobility solutions, and education and healthcare tech, and media support and events, and AI and machine learning, and also on cybersecurity and blockchain. So there are two major smart cities of the future in Qatar currently being developed. Msheireb downtown, a $5.5 billion mixed-use district covering almost 31,000 square meter, and also Lusail City, a $45 billion smart city covering 38 square kilometers. There is also Qatar commitment to clean energy, smart transportation, and eco-friendly logistics. That's starting with electrification of the public transport system, which have already started before the World Cup and going to continue up to 2030. So these are some of the benefits from diverse opportunities across the smart city supply chain. We're looking at opportunities in mobility, urban planning, energy and environment, security and control, social and public services, and smart governance. There is multiple opportunities that the country is trying to develop across. So one of the sectors across emerging tech that the country is really looking at developing is the development of advanced mobility. Qatar have 70% of Qatar is covered by 5G coverage, and Qatar road network is very much almost fully developed, coming up to the World Cup. So Qatar become a very good infrastructure or a good test bed for a lot of the advanced mobility, and especially in autonomous driving. So that's about electric, connected, and autonomous solutions. We're looking at autonomous logistics, autonomous shuttles, electrical passenger vehicles, and autonomous delivery units, and autonomous trucks, and electric buses. And the infrastructure in Qatar makes an ideal solution for test beds of that. So here in the free zone, we have property and land plot options. We have custom-built facilities for investors depending on their need. We have industrial warehouses. We have service lands, and we have state-of-the-art offices, and we have plug-and-play facilities also for investors to come in and take over and start their business. And these are just some of the example companies that we have across in the technology sector that we managed to attract to the free zone. Thank you very much, and feel free to reach me out on this email, investors@qfza.gov.qa. Thank you.
Hello, everyone. Thank you for the invite. One second, I'll just share the presentation. So, as you know, thank you very much for the invite. As Hamad said, you know, there are a lot of funding opportunities in Qatar. And part of that is an economic development fund, which was created under the 100% subsidiary under the free zone, Doha Venture Capital, whereby you know, we have a dual mandate. So as an economic development fund, we are looking for financial return, but we are a global investor, and any company we invest in globally, they have to come back and set up something substantial in Qatar in the free zone. So basically, we look at growth stage companies within the technology space. We analyze those companies. We look at them financially, and also at the same time, we speak to them about creating an impact in Qatar in the free zone, mainly around manufacturing angles. So around different spaces. So we focus in sectors within the agri-tech and food tech, for example, clean tech, such as batteries, freight and logistics, biotech and health tech, and medical devices. And we look at, you know, at different strategic opportunities. So the idea there is we invest in companies globally, such as companies within the US, SMEs and growth stage ventures, whereby those companies usually want to come to our region and create a regional hub to operate and serve the Middle East and North Africa. So basically, what our value proposition is, basically we provide them with strategic long-term capital, And also we facilitate and support their presence in Qatar and introduce them to various stakeholders and business opportunities. And we give them access to our local and international network. And obviously, since we are 100% subsidiary of the Free Zone, we give them access to all of QFZ incentives which Hamad talked about. So I'd like to give you maybe a few examples of investments we've done in the US to have a better feeling of what we're looking for. So for example, we've invested in a company called Inventus Power. They are a lithium-ion battery manufacturer. So they do the battery pack and the battery management system. They do batteries for commercial use, for medical devices, and so on. So we've invested in the mother company in the US, and then they came and set up a manufacturing hub in Qatar in the Free Zone to serve the Middle East, so Qatar and the Middle East, but also to serve Europe. So, and they've already started, they actually did their official opening 2 weeks ago, and they started their business. So this is one example of a company we've invested in within the clean tech space. We've also invested in companies in the US in different areas other than those. So we've invested in mobility and edtech and AI and so on. And all of those companies we've invested in, they came and set up in Qatar and the Free Zone. So this is in a nutshell what we do. We invest in companies globally. You ensure to analyze them in a well manner to get financial return, and at the same time attract them to set up in Qatar. So it's a kind of a two-way FDI mechanism where we bring FDI then into the US by investing there and also bringing them back to Qatar. So that's it. Thank you very much. Thank you. I don't know if anyone has any questions or for myself or Hamad.
Thank you, Hamad, and thank you, Mohammed. We appreciate this sharing this information with the audience. This is Mohammed Barakat from the US-Qatar Business Council. I'll be managing and moderating the questions for you today. So we'll bring the questions from the audience in here, and any questions that comes across through the Zoom platform, and I will be reading it to you for any answers. And I hope that we'll have our guest speakers on screen soon.
Yeah, you are provided with some paper and pens, so please feel free to write any question that you have, and I will go over with a little basket where you can drop your question. And if you don't have questions, it is fine too. So please take a few minutes to write in a question whenever you want, and I'll just go around.
Let me start while we get this collect these questions. Our audience writing questions to you, both of you, Hamad and Mohammed. As a moderator, I get the right to ask the first question, as they say. So what we saw today, and we shared a little bit more information earlier this morning from the Office of the Commercial Attaché, Qatar Commercial Attaché here, the advancements and the changes in Qatar in the free zone and the laws and the regulations. Will you maybe explain a little bit the process for an American company to join or be part of the free zone, and in both ways? The first part of the question for the Free Zone Authority, how this works, and then on the second part, if you invested in an American company, how does it work for them to come and join the free zone?
I also have some questions from our virtual.
Maybe we'll start with Hamad.
Okay, good. So the process is quite simple. You apply and you share your business plan, and we have several options for you, from very simple, very quick virtual office. So it's a co-working option, to a fitted office, where if you want to be to have a presence as a more sustainable presence in a fitted office, In case of a service land or a trunky option like a plug and play, like an LIU, light industrial unit, we will look more into due diligence, a full business plan. But the process in essence takes between a week if it's just a co-working, to maybe 2 to 3 weeks if it's a plug and play, especially if it's a service land and we take care of everything for you on your behalf. So we issue a commercial registration license, we facilitate your visas, we facilitate anything that the process is made for an investor that's alien to Qatar, that doesn't know anyone in Qatar, that just coming in, want to deal with one face and want to be taken care of with one face, doesn't want to deal with any other entity. We facilitate that on your behalf as an investor platform.
Sounds great. And Mohammed.
Yeah, sure. From our side, basically in terms of setting up, it is exactly the same process which Hamad did. So what we do is the following. First, we follow the normal investment process. So we look at the company. Let's say we receive the presentation, we call it the teaser. We analyze the company. We sign an NDA with them. We look into the data room. We take this to the investment committee, we take it to the board and so on. So kind of your normal investment process. But along the way, what we do is we work very closely with the company and with the free zone to create the local angle. So while we are doing our analysis, we work with those companies, we introduce them to the free zone, we find an opportunity to be done, and then we submit to our investment committee and to our board not just the financial analysis, but also the local angle. So for example, they'll come and create a factory of, they'll rent X square meters, they bring so much skilled labor, they'll deploy so much capital and so on. And then in terms of registration, it is exactly the same process as what Hamad described.
Thank you so much. Appreciate that. I know that we're getting a lot of questions coming through right now. I just got some written here. Let me start with this question. So the question mainly asks, from your perspective, what's the next wave when it comes to focus in tech? Is there an expectation on where is the tech is going from your perspective?
I'm not a subject matter expert, but from what we see and where the trend, clean tech is a very, very strong trend. Clean tech and autonomous driving, or autonomous overall. We see these two are one of the strongest trends, I believe.
The other question is, if a US smart cities company wants to test their technology in Qatar, how do they work with the government to explore the deployment?
So if they're exploring, what we do sometimes for our investors that just exploring things in Qatar, we can arrange for them introductory meetings with Musharraf, with Lusail, for them to explore the opportunities of what they can and what they can do, how they can deploy their technologies and their product offering.
Thank you.
Yeah.
One other question here, and it might be a little bit, I'm not sure if that's, the question feeds into the free zone, but it says, as Qatar becomes more agriculture and food independent, and I think the question going about the food security, does it have plan to import from Colorado, such as beef or other products? That this fits maybe in a different portfolio, but
no,
if you want to stab at it.
Qatar has a national company, Widam, which is owned by Hassad. Widam used to import quite heavily from Australia, and I understand that contract have expired already. I cannot speak on their behalf, but we can, as I explained again, we can also make the introductions and we can put them in touch with Widam directly. We are in touch with them directly, and they can explore that and do that product offering to them.
Thank you so much. The question here comes in a part of the answer you probably provided earlier, but they're asking if it's possible to go over just a simple way of the process of submitting a request to get a capital investment in some of these companies.
So as I mentioned, what happens is, and I'll give you my email after this, and and anyone can reach out to us. But what happens is the following: we receive a lot of inbound requests. So a lot of people send us at our email info@dvc.qa requests and presentations. What happens is then we screen those presentations, right, based on our focus sectors, based on growth stage, or stage at which stage the company is based on different criteria. And then if we like it, we basically ask for a discussion with the company. And then if we like it, we sign the NDA, and then we move with the process. So basically, we are happy to receive any presentation or inbound request to our email. And then, as I said, we filter it just normally like any other fund.
Thank you. And another question here as well talks about the investment community in Qatar, and if the investment community in Qatar invest in startups within the Qatari ecosystem. So
definitely, I mean, there is a lot of it's a global trend, I'd say. Everyone is investing in startups now, and there is a lot of angel investors upcoming. But so two things. One, let's put it personal or business people wise, there is a lot of the angel investment community is upcoming in Qatar. There is a lot of individuals which are interested in investing in startups. And other than that, institution-wise, there are a few funds which are, investing in very early stage startups. For example, Qatar Development Bank, as I understand, they have an incubator which invests in early stage companies. Also, there is QSTP, Qatar Science Technology Park. Also, they have a fund which, and I think some incubators as well, which invest in startups. So there are both institutions and individual investors interested in this space.
Thank you, Mohammed. The technical moderator is asking me if it's possible for you to turn on your camera, actually, so our audience can also see.
Apologies, it was working. I was telling Roulette it was working, but it stopped for some reason.
There's a question here, and it's a little bit more on the general understanding of or foreign investors in Qatar. Is there a specific way for investors to get what so-called investors visa? I think this is more of an American model or European model. Is there a minimum for that? And I understand Qatar has different ways for these companies to come in, and it's easier for American investors, but is there a specific investors visa that has been established yet in Qatar?
We have what's so-called a business visa. I'm not sure if that's an investor, but we have for a co-working, for example, for a virtual office, for every license of a virtual office, we give at least 2 business visas. So we do have a business visa. I'm not sure if it's equivalent to an investor visa. And we give it as an interim solution until the investor comes in, set up, and then he can get a resident permit, and then he can get a more permanent visa.
Yeah, appreciate that. I'm not sure if we're getting more. I'm waiting for more questions, but I'm gonna go a little bit onto the free zone positions and our understanding that the free zones has different places and strategically positioned attached to the airport or the Hamad port, and so on. How do you see the integration between the free zone authority, free zone itself, the zones itself, the airports, the capacity of Qatar Airways cargo management, and the expansion of the cargo capacity of Qatar Airways, and Hamad port capacity as well? Is there like a seamless integration? Do you see how a company should see this working for them and in their advantage if they are present in the free zone?
They should see it as an added value. Qatar Airways, for example, is a national champion of us and an important stakeholder. We're working very closely with them, and we're working even with their sub-suppliers for them to incorporate and be in the free zone. The idea is by investors being in the free zone, their life is easier, their daily operations are smoother. We're working with the customs operations of Qatar to make the process as seamless as possible from the airport directly to their facilities within the free zone and back to the airports, for example, and the air cargo side. On the Hamad Port side, it's a both added benefit. As I mentioned, Hamad Port is one of the world's largest greenfield ports, and they want to increase the capacity, they want to increase the movement in and out from the Hamad Port. So it's in their best interest to help us, help them, help all of Qatar to kind of have more investors and increase the movement and the logistical movement from and to Hamad Port. So.
Thank you, appreciate that. I have some questions that came through the virtual platform. They're asking if there's a specific understanding of the utilization of the 5G network, the wireless network, and if there's specific technologies within the smart city buildup in Qatar that's using this 5G technology. Is it being deployed yet, or companies can build on it?
I can come back to them on that question. I read that question. I'll come back to you guys on that question.
Thank you so much. Appreciate that. One more question here. Is there a specific hot sectors that the free zone or the venture capital is focusing on beyond the very hot sectors? For
yeah, sure. So as I mentioned, ag tech, food tech, for example, right, is something which we're looking at. So you're kind of, for example, vertical farming, plant-based food, and so on. So this is one sector. Clean tech is definitely another sector. Mobility, e-commerce is something which the free zone is also focusing on. You know, as a to create logistics hubs and so on. So you know, there are different kind of sectors which are you know, important for us. Just on the logistics as well, the way you should see it is that talking about Qatar Airways, sorry, the previous question is, we see some players coming from for example, from different parts of the world and trying to enter into Africa. So using Qatar Airways, for example, let's say pharmaceuticals, right? So for Qatar Airways is one of the biggest cargo players in the pharmaceuticals space. So if you would like, for example, to supply to Africa, you can use Qatar as your hub, bring your pharmaceuticals there into a temperature control kind of warehousing, and then send that all over into Africa. So that's just a simple example of how you can utilize those logistics. Back to your question, as I said, I mean, sorry, ag tech, food tech, clean tech, mobility, e-commerce, kind of all of interesting sectors for us.
I want to add to what my colleague Mohammed said, especially food tech and agri-tech and health tech, because the government is more, food security, for example, is a big agenda for the government. So they're more willing to kind of support the likes of companies in these sectors by giving them, at least by awarding them contracts if they set up operations within Qatar. So they're more lenient to kind of support these kind of projects from the government.
Thank you. Appreciate that. The question here generally about working in Qatar in general, and we somewhat discussed some of these points in our earlier presentation, but because you're from in there right now, the question is about how is it the security, the safety of operating in Qatar for businesses from a perspective of national security, how companies and investors coming in feeling about their investments in Qatar.
I think we have, yeah, sure, I can take this. You know, we have one of the most advanced regulations, right? And we have a very high level of investor protection rights. We have free repatriation and movement of money. The free zone is also subject, correct me, Hamad, to English law. So you have an English court, you know, and so on. So I'll say it's very much investor-friendly place with investor-friendly regulations.
Thank you for that. And if I will add to that as well, to the about the question here, it's in case in the matter of safety, I think we heard earlier today from the commercial attaché about the amount of security, and it's one of the safest countries in the world actually when it comes to operating in Qatar and doing business in Qatar. In addition to what you mentioned, the investment laws that guarantees these investments and what we have seen in the past years with these investors. And another question here, and I think we're getting closer to the end here. How do you feel these US partnerships or Qatari partnerships with American companies? And if I understood the question correctly here, it says how these partnerships could affect their companies, American companies doing business with the US government. Is there a specific like structure for these partnerships that will not affect the ability for the American company to do business with the US government? No, this is probably US government.
Yeah, I don't see any shape or form on why these partnership would disallow the American companies from doing business with the American government.
Actually, to be frank, you know, given the very special relationships between Qatar and the US, I think, you know, setting up in Qatar is actually a way to get access to the US, you know, because actually being in Qatar and being a Qatari company, which is one of the biggest allies and friends of the US, will give you a better access to the US. So I see it the other way around, to be frank.
I have one question too from my side before I close with one last question from the audience. Could you highlight the sustainability and the environmental considerations with all the projects that's taking place within the free zone? I heard that many of these programs have somewhat carbon credit attached to it and trying to be zero with emissions and so on. I might not have the full pictures. If you want to highlight a little bit the sustainability part of many of these projects within the free zone.
So when we evaluate the project, actually sustainability is one of the metrics that we evaluate a project on. So if the project is actually trying to be as sustainable as possible, it actually incentivizes us to give the project more incentives. We're a value extraction tool for the government. We're not a real estate developer. So if ensuring the investor becoming more sustainable, if we give him better terms, we will do so. So that's one aspect. The other thing is the government have, in the last change of the cabinets, there was a new ministerial position for climate change. So the government is very much focused on sustainability and making sure that the country reaches its targets for sustainability, including, for example, growing 30 million trees in Qatar by 2030. So we're working very closely with the government and trying to achieve those goals.
Thank you. Appreciate that. On another question here, it's a direct, straight question. If Qatar interested in supporting urban air mobility companies, such as drones or other new people movement technologies, is that something that seems on the interest of or your agenda in the investment part?
And the investment part, definitely. See, mobility is also something which we are interested in, and this is within mobility. Obviously, and in general, yes, we are interested in this space, but obviously, you know, as an investment fund, we need to study each opportunity on case-by-case basis, but definitely this is something which we would consider.
Thank you so much. I'm not sure if we have any other questions from the audience. It seems we have answered most of their questions. We'll invite you if you want to say Any few closing remarks from your side, Hamad and Mohammed?
I would like to welcome any investor that have any questions, any clarifications. If they would like us to set them up with any meetings with any of the stakeholders of Qatar or any of the ministries, we work very closely across with our national champions and with the government across on a lot of agendas, so we can be a good gateway to Qatar. Hopefully, I'm hoping to see some of them hopefully soon in Qatar. That's all.
No, thank you very much all for inviting us. It's highly appreciated. Thank you.
Thank you so much. We're gonna go for some closing remarks. I'll start with that, and then I'll pass to you, Karen. In general, today we had a very, very productive day, and in my opinion, for the amount of information that has been shared, hearing from the Office of the Commercial Attaché, Fahd al-Dosari, and as well the presentation that we provided about the opportunities in Qatar, the business and collaboration. And attached to that, importantly, what we heard today from the Free Zone Authority, Qatar Free Zone Authority, and as well Doha Venture Capital in the idea on how this actually, what we heard this morning, how is it attached and being actually implemented on the ground in Qatar. Free Zone Authority and then several other entities in Qatar actually provide that support to companies. And as you heard, it's both ways. It happens here in the United States, in Colorado, and hopefully Denver area as well, but also back to Qatar. In that relationship shows you that the relationship is only partnership rather than just one-way road. We look forward to see more of the companies engaging. We are here in the US and always around to answer any questions and help these companies advance their business interests. We thank all our partners and all the interests that we felt here today in Denver, and welcoming us with the snow today is also amazing, and I'm thankful. I'm sure, unfortunately, people who joined us virtually didn't get to witness that. But I'm very grateful as well for all the entities from the Chamber of Commerce, World Trade Center for their support here, and Economic Developments, the Department of Commerce as well. And we will share more information with you after the session. And I'm going to pass it now to Karen to close from the World Trade Center.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
I just want to thank the Commercial Attaché, Fahad al-Dosari, and all of our esteemed guests from the State of Qatar and the Qatar Business Council. Thank you so much for selecting Denver as a booming economy to develop further partnerships. And I want to thank again our partners here in Colorado for this event. We look forward to continuing the conversations and facilitating additional meetings for our clients. And we invite you to check out our website for any upcoming events, but we have the largest business conference in the Rocky Mountain region, World Trade Day, happening May 24th. And if you're in town again, feel free to come. We'd love to have you as our guests. So thank you very much.
Thank you so much.